face up. Pull my face up.
Hey, what's going on? Miguel Loyd, host of Chamber Live, and welcome to today's episode. So on today's episode, it is Women's History Month, and it's March Madness season, and I happen to know somebody real dope who that really works with both. She's an outstanding businesswoman, and she also is a former WNBA professional, and she is deep in that game right now, Miss Rushia Brown. How you doing, sis?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, man, I can't complain. So we got to tell our story about how we met, right? So here, it's so funny. We as parents, we both got kids same age playing basketball, and it's so wild who's in those gyms half the time while the kids are on the court practicing. We sitting on the side just kind of hanging out or whatever. I said, she pretty tall. We get to talking, and come to find out, I need to know my history. Former WNBA ball player. What year were you drafted?
You know, I actually played in the league the first 7 years.
Okay.
So from the beginning, I got a chance to be a part of the league.
Okay. So interesting story. I learned to respect women's basketball real early because my high school team was amazing. Phoebe's High School in Hampton, Virginia.
Okay.
And you know Keisha Fred.
Of course, I know Fred.
So Fred, I played with her brother. Obviously, her brother was nowhere as good as her. Lakeisha Fred.
I'll let you tell it.
He was not.
Okay.
Class 89, I'm class of 90. Fred was 93, but we know. But Terry Flournoy, who was Terry Williams, Boo Williams' sister, she went to my high school, actually lived right across the street from me. But our basketball team, you know, those girls would blow them out. There were those 90-9 games and stuff back in the 80s. But you were there at the beginning of this thing, 1996, I believe it was, right?
The announcement was 96. The first season was the summer of 97.
Summer of 97. And great ball players. Who were the top players? I know Lisa Leslie came in, I think Lobo was there. And so you went to school in
South Carolina at Furman University.
Furman, that's right. So tell us about the experience early on, being a pioneer in the WNBA.
You know, it was crazy because my journey to the W was unlike most people. And when you ask, when did I get drafted? I didn't.
Okay.
And, you know, I started playing basketball at a late age, didn't start till 10th grade. Committed to North Carolina at Chapel Hill because that was my dream school. Made a late pull and went to Greenville to attend Furman University. And I was lucky enough to go ahead and play 3 seasons internationally before the W started. Okay. Because that helped me prepare. And when the W started, I wasn't drafted. I wasn't invited to camp. I was actually picked up in a tryout. Because of marketing purposes, the league wanted to make the excitement in each of the markets. And I went to Charlotte and tried out. 200 women, made it to the final 10 and got cut. And the following weekend, I drove up to Cleveland with my brother. Same thing, 200 women, made it to the final 6. Ended up being a practice player. Worked 3.5 weeks through training camp. Became a regular player, and they put somebody else on the practice team. 7 games in, coach was like, Rushia, I'm starting you because you're the best matchup for Lisa Leslie when we play on ESPN on Friday. So my journey wasn't like everybody else's. It was all about, you know, the hard work and being behind the scenes.
You were there at the beginning where the WNBA has always been, you know, for lack of a better term, kind of the stepchild of basketball, right?
Absolutely.
You know, all the initial franchises were owned by the NBA, correct? And so here it is, where are we, 25, almost 30 years later.
Almost 30 years in.
Almost 30 years later. And now we're seeing some interest that has never seen before, right? Talk to us about how you've seen that journey over the last 30 years.
It's been crazy watching, and especially in the last 3 to 5 years, just the influx of popularity, not only of the girls, but the league itself. And you see the sponsors wanting to be a part. You see the men. The men have always been our allies and advocate. Because you had the NBA guys there, they would come and watch the games and be there in the summer, and just all the work that they would do to help support. But now it's just amazing. And I think it's the perfect storm. You look at how the media has changed, social media has changed, the TV viewership, the crazy talent of the girls.
Correct.
Like everything in this last 3 to 5 years has really been amazing for the game, and we're growing and it's getting bigger and well supported.
There's a lot of things I love and hate about social media.
It's a gift and a curse.
It's a gift and a curse because I've always said it didn't make sense that the women's game was not more popular because of the ability of the players and women influencers being able to reach the market much easier. Obviously, women are very active on social media. Tell us about this. I want to get your opinion on what we've seen over the last 3 years with the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, that whole conversation. What's your take on that?
You know, everybody loves the villain. And everybody wants a hero. So it just turns out that Caitlin and Angel played those parts. And depending on who you ask, either could be the villain or the hero. But that type of fiery interaction is what made the game so appealing to so many people because they want to see women compete. You know, they're beautiful off the court, but when you get on the court, it's down to business. So we coined it Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, no, I watched this, and we know the racial component that's there, right?
Absolutely.
And but this isn't new. We saw this with Bird and Magic, right?
Absolutely.
Before, a lot of people don't know, before Bird and Magic, NBA games were tape delayed.
Yeah.
They were not showing these things live. 70, 78, 79, national championship in college, Indiana State versus Michigan State was this big thing. It's almost exactly the same thing we're seeing with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You know, and full disclosure, Angel Reese is great. She ain't Magic, right?
No.
But she's very good. You know, she's a very good power forward. Caitlin Clark, is she as good as they say she is?
As advertised. As advertised. And even better because people got on Diana Taurasi with her saying, oh, she's going to have to make an adjustment. And those first few games, she did have to make an adjustment. But it's like everything from high school to college, you make an adjustment. From college to the pros, you make the adjustment. You have to get used to the speed of the game, the physicality of the game. And I think that was her challenge. But you saw after the All-Star, she was ready.
Yeah. When I saw her play live here in Atlanta, and great shooter, obviously. I was more impressed with her court vision.
Oh my gosh, she sees 3 steps ahead. She sees 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was impressed with. But it just bothers me how much, especially in this climate that we're in right now, that is this country doesn't need this. That type of division.
It doesn't, but she brought a set of eyes to our game that wasn't interested before. And so that comes with it. You know, like these people weren't interested in basketball. They're interested in her. But we'll take it because now that increases our ratings, which now leads to an opportunity for this women. The WNBA is coming up on their new collective bargaining agreement. TV contract is coming in.
That's right.
Those eyes that were also social media trolls, they're helping the women get greater contracts. So you take it.
So just so we're clear, the WNBA and the NBA operate separately, correct? There's still some owners some who own NBA teams and WNBA teams.
Yes.
The reason why I bring it up is because I want to talk about the business, because you are in the business of basketball now. You've been retired for years, but now you still talk to us about what you currently do in the ecosystem of basketball.
Well, I am on the board for the NBA Retired Players Association. We serve the NBA, WNBA, Harlem Globetrotters, and it's all about making sure that the players transition and have programming that assists them with that. But here recently, as we talked about our kids, I started an AAU program. So we have Team Passion here in Stockbridge, Georgia, but it's just really pouring back into the young ladies that will be the future of our game, providing opportunities and skill sets both on and off the court to help them be amazing women. But I'm still involved with the retired players, the WNBA, just making sure that our women have opportunities programmatically as well as entrepreneurially.
So let's talk about, we've seen Angel Reese, McDonald's commercials, right? Caitlin Clark, State Farm commercials. You've got the Hyundai the women are now getting respected. And I always tell people all the time, there's a market for everything and everybody, right? And so finally getting respected. So then you've got this Unrivaled League that just started this year, which is doing very well.
Very well.
I'm so happy to see these women not having to go play in Europe or play overseas to supplement the income, because, you know, these guys in the league are making $100 million contracts, some even bigger than that. But what's the average salary for a WNBA player right now?
Right now, you're looking at like 150. You know, the top salaries are over 200. And that's not everybody. But the thing that has made it a better opportunity is the marketing. You know, they get a chance. Their brands are out here now, like you said. So the branding, that marketing piece is really important. A lot of the ladies have their own businesses, so they're taking advantage of the relationships they're building off the court in order to build their brand.
Okay. I want to go back. So talk to us about, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina. And so Furman's did your parents get a chance to come see you play much there?
So my father passed away when I was in high school. That's part of the reason I didn't want to go so far. I wanted to stay close to mom.
I remember your mom.
But my mom, she was always at my games.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, no, I would, as you know, we're everywhere the girls are. And man, when I see some of those people say, I want to go play for Stanford, or I want to go play, you know, and you're from Georgia and go all the way to Stanford, I don't know if I'm ready for that, for my child to go all the way to the other side of the country. I can't see them play every time. But
you know, my mom she was definitely willing to let me make my own decision, but at the same time, she was glad I stayed close to home.
Yeah. So the business of basketball and how it has evolved over the course of the last few years, you mentioned that the men have been supportive. Give us an example of how NBA players, how supportive they have been in the growth of the WNBA.
Well, you have, and I'll speak of my fave, one of my faves, and like Kobe, when he started his team, rest his soul, he brought Gigi and the team to the Aces game. I worked for the Las Vegas Aces for 2 years, and he brought the girls to the team, put them in the environment to see the pros. You know, he's Kobe Bryant, but he understood the importance of the mentorship piece that was going to impact these young ladies. We have guys that have financially invested in certain aspects.
And that makes so much sense to me.
It makes sense to all of us.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, but it's still a business. And so when we look at opportunities and think, well, people should do more, it's still a business. And so we look at it as such, and you want to make sure that you have an opportunity to get a return on your investment.
Yeah.
But you have them courtside. They're always watching the games. They come in. Some of them work out with the girls, with the women. So they're always around. So verbally, you hear them on social media. If there's ever a troll. I remember there was some guy was talking junk, and I think it was Lexi Brown beat this guy in the gym. All of the NBA guys were reposting it because they got mad respect for the women that are playing. And if you see social media trolls, it's always some guy who's probably in his basement at his mama's house. It's never the men that have actually played basketball because they respect and understand how much work goes into being an elite player in this league.
I remember I learned real quick one time. We was in the gym and you went to setting an example for somebody and you put your forearm on me one good time. I said, yeah, that's a ball player's forearm right there.
They just have to understand. And I'm so excited because so many of the girls are girls and, you know, strong and firm. But you got to be able to, when you step on the court, it's go time.
It's go time. It's go time. And I watch some of these girls play, and the competitiveness that they have and everything. And I've always, like I said, I've been around women in basketball my entire basketball life. But these girls have a different skill set now. The young lady is a point guard at South Carolina.
Malaysia Fulwiley.
Oh, my God. The way her ability to handle the rock.
Unbelievable.
Oh, the way she can handle the rock is crazy. Juju Watkins.
Yes.
You know, let's talk about what's next. When we come back, we're going to talk about who's next here in the WNBA, who's next in women's basketball, and who we should be looking out for. And maybe we'll do a little comparisons, too. I want to see if we'll run a few names for you. We'll be back in a second.
Put the place up.
Let me show you how you can quickly add some boom to your Zoom meetings with Ecamm Live. First, you can connect your pro camera and then bring that into Zoom via Ecamm Live's virtual camera feature. So you can add your logo to the corner, and you can even add a QR code or swap it out with your social media handle. In fact, you can drag and drop any image or video, even GIFs. And you can add a PDF, PowerPoint, or Keynote presentation here. So you don't need a videographer, a producer, or an editor to level up your Zoom meetings. You just need Ecamm Live.
All right, welcome back to Chamber Live. As I mentioned, we're having a great conversation here with Rushia Brown, WNBA legend and basketball aficionado. All right, so I'm going to throw some names out here because we got to sell this women's game, right? So I'm going to throw out a few names, and I want you to kind of give us a lady. There's a few people, there's no comparison, right? But on both sides, right?
For sure.
But I'm going to throw out a few names. I want you to give me a comparison. Let's start with LeBron James.
Okay, LeBron will start off current with Alyssa Thomas. She played for Connecticut. I think she just went to Phoenix. big body, broad shoulders, strong, gets to the basket, distributes the ball extremely well. She'll take a jumper every now and then, but there's no talent that matches up to her physicality. And in the past, Tot. And this is going to be, you have to be a basketball fan. Latasha Byers was a force in the paint. And you have to go.
What era does she play?
Yeah,
in?
she's
with
like
you?
a few years younger than I am.
Okay.
But she played for LA. Tot was in the league a couple of years.
Yeah.
She was had some issues off the court, but physicality, hands, amazing with the ball. It was a great time to watch. If you can keep her from cutting up.
We're gonna go the other direction. I'm gonna name a lady. You give us the male equivalent. Jewel Loyd.
Jewel Loyd. I would say Dame.
Dame
Lillard.
Okay.
Jewel is an amazing shooter. She's very even-tempered. Dame never shows expression. Can get to the basket and finish. Plays excellent defense.
Yeah.
So I would put Jewel and Dame Lillard
I like
together.
that comparison. Diana Taurasi.
DT. Mean. Let me see. Who out here just
Chris
finishing
Paul.
and doing everything? Just feisty, right?
Yeah, right.
Because CP3 is like that also. Just feisty and in your face all the time. I like that. Could shoot the three, distribute the ball, keep the team going the way that they need to. So I love the DT and CP3 comparison.
How good, who would you compare Caitlin Clark to in the history of the game?
Our women's game?
Or men.
Caitlin is, she's a combo of a number of people. And I really think she's setting tone to be her own who's like Caitlin. But, you see in the beginning of our game, we had some amazing guards, maybe didn't have all the things. Like Caitlin, I struggle because she's a little bit of Sue. She's a little bit of Diana. She's a little bit of Kim Peratt. For those who go back, Kim Peratt played with the Houston Comets when they won all those titles way back because she was so smart and could see and anticipate. She's a little bit of teaspoon minus the defense as far as seeing the court and understanding how to get the passes where they need to be. So she really is a compilation of all the amazing things and point guards that have come before her.
Let's talk college. Juju Watkins, how good is she?
Like she's scary.
Yeah.
And it's so effortless.
That's 6'1"?
It's so effortless. I saw her out here blocking somebody's shot like she was Dikembe.
And the girl was, the one I saw, the girl was 6'7".
Yes.
And she blocking the girl's shot at 6'1".
Yeah. No, I love watching. And I'm so excited about what the future of our game is going to look like because these young ladies have women that have played at the highest level that they are forming their games after. And so before, like when I played, we watched the guys. But now you can realistically watch the game and see women that you're like, yo, I can do that and even better. So just watching them develop and create their own styles of play. I love watching Juju.
You bring up a good point because there's now enough tape. These sisters don't need to be emulating all the guys and all their movement. The women's game is the way the movement, there's a lot more movement in the women's game. There's a lot more of the traditional style, a lot of us who come back from the game early. And so like you said, they can now go back and look at Diana Taurasi's career and look at Lisa Leslie's career and say, now instead of trying to, you're not going to dunk from the free throw line. It's never going to happen, right? But you can post somebody up. You can play good help defense. You can do pick and roll. You can shoot and all of those things. So great. I'm looking forward to it. So let's go back. I want to talk team passion. I want to talk youth development and women development because that's part of what you do with your nonprofit and some of your personal work. You're bringing team passion up a little bit different than a lot of the programs. You're not just rolling the basketball out on Saturday and say kids go play. What's your vision for Team Passion?
Team Passion is going to be about development. I shared with you earlier how I didn't start playing until I was in the 10th grade. And the coaches took a chance on me because typically they want people that have already, been in the gym, been working and know how to play. But they took a chance on me and they developed me. And I like to think I didn't let them down because I matured and I stayed in the gym and I worked really hard. And I think that's what it's about. Our game is going to be excellent. But it depends on you, how much work you put in. So I need the young ladies that are coming under our program to know that you can have whatever you want. Yeah. It's not when you start the game, but how hard you work once you start the game.
As professional athletes or athletes in general, because most of us don't end up being professionals, I don't care how great you are. By the time you're 40 years old, you better be finding something else to do. Right? That's a lot of life left to live. And so when I watch a lot of these programs who don't focus on development, because you had the Play Like a Girl program, our daughters enjoyed that. You make sure you have different development stuff off the court. And I just wish more programs kind of took that seriously.
And I believe that sports, like anything else, is a copycat league. I think some people have the intentionality and want to, and maybe just haven't. But I don't care, because I know what's important for these young ladies. I've seen so many women come across the path and not have anything to fall back on. And so we look at the numbers. 0.08% of these young ladies are going to go to the next level. What else can you do? So we are focused on teaching them how to be in front of a camera, because there's so many other jobs that are associated with playing sport. We teach them, mental wellness. We have tutors. We want to make sure you're doing well in school. We do community service. So all these things are important, because this game is going to be the shortest career you'll ever have.
You're not going to make a ton of money.
No.
Right.
I mean, hopefully by the time they get there, it'll be a ton of money. But I retired at 32. I have way more life after basketball than I did with the game. So it's really important for them to understand who they are off the court.
Yeah, I think that's and I want to make sure I corrected what I was saying. Ton of money is relative, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got guys in the NBA or NFL that have seen $50 million and they're broken 3 and 4 years. So there has to be a development piece in this thing to do something else besides play basketball.
And even that part, the financial literacy, understanding how you work the game and don't let the game work you. How you let your money work for you once you earn it, so that you're in a position that you can live your life the way that you want to. But so much of this education is predicated on the people that are around them, giving them that knowledge and information. Because most of the times the parents don't know. My mom didn't know anything about basketball when I was playing. I had to educate myself and be around other people. So the more I learn, the more I want to teach other people. So I'm in all these spaces. So it makes a difference, because the knowledge that I give to the young ladies that are in my program, it's not what somebody told me, it's what I learned myself.
The evolution of the game I've watched over the course of the last 20, 25 years, not just basketball, sports in general. When LeBron got to the point he started his own marketing and media and production company, people said, why he's going to do that interview with this? And I always talk about the decision, or whatever they called it. And they always make that out to be such a huge deal, and what LeBron did wrong with that. They forget that he raised something like $1 million that day.
And donated it.
And donated the money from that particular activity. And they always drag him through the mud. That's a whole different conversation, but it always annoys me because I remember it. And it was very purposeful what he's did. And now with Maverick Entertainment and all of that. But so you've had a great career. You're still in the midst of this thing. Talk to us about where you see women's basketball, women in athletics, women in sports over the course of the next.
I am so excited about what it looks like. Our young ladies coming up will have an opportunity to play in a league that honors and respects them. The new ownerships are really putting them in a position to be seen as top-tier athletes. With viewership and TV, the young ladies are being seen, so our fan base is growing.
That's right.
The support coming from the sponsors, the dollars are there. Like, they'll get a chance to write their own ticket and be whoever it is they want to, if they understand how to walk this road. Like, it's a business, so you are the brand. So I'm just excited about what that looks like. And I just know so many doors will open up for them, because we have all the number of women that are coaching in the NBA. You can go NBA, WNBA, international. There's so many jobs affiliated with being a part of this game that I know is going to open up for the women.
Appreciate you, sis.
Thank you so much, Miguel.
All right.
Great time.
We'll see you next time on Chamber Live. This is Miguel Loyd, your host. We'll see you soon.
Put the place up.